Yo, this is Heath with Malcontent. You're listening to The Loud Spot with your boy Sebastian.
Oh, no! Oh, boy! Ah, here it comes! The motherfucking Loud Spot! That's right, you're listening to the almighty Hot Zone! Doing the intro to the Loud Spot podcast! You're goddamn right! We're doing intros for podcasts now! And if you don't like it, you can suck the entire circumference of my... Wayne Tretzky with the squeals and the drops! P1E goes on till it pops! Cannonball, don't trust a cop! Johnny Spotswood just don't know when to stop! Yeah! And if you don't like it, you better take your ass up to the snooty box, cause this is the Loud Spot! Okay, see you later.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian Cosme, right out of Oklahoma City. Today we have, literally one of the most amazing shows you've ever had on this podcast. We have a guy right here on my Zoom call named Sam McIntosh, and he owns a company called Diamond Noise Agency. What's up, man?
What's going on?
I'm just excited that you are on this podcast, and I also want to say, like I told you before we started this, I didn't believe you were who you said you were when you first messaged me.
Well, who was I supposed to be then? I don't understand.
I don't know. Well, the thing is, you get a lot of messages from people trying to promote other people's bands because they like their music, and they're like, "Hey, play these guys on your podcast." And I'm like, "Okay, but who are you? Like, are you in the band?" And then I asked you, you're like, "You can play them." You're like, "Trust me."
Yeah.
And then I saw, and the band's Jack's Diaries, and I saw their music video. And at the end of the video, it actually said Diamond Noise Agency.
Yeah. Yeah, and he didn't have to do that. I don't understand why they did that. I appreciate it. I love it. I love the shout out that they gave me, but I didn't pay for it. You ain't gonna tell me. I work for them. I don't understand why they needed to. But it's one of those things. It's a nice gesture, and I didn't know. I had no idea they were doing that. Because they spend a lot of money on that video and all the other videos that they do. And they only are spending more and more money on videos now since COVID-19. So
yeah, well, it gave you some street cred, and it definitely gave you validity to me and whoever else you're talking to, because I saw that and I was like, this guy's the real deal. So, Sam, I appreciate you reaching out to me in the first place, and then I appreciate you wanting to be on the podcast and talk about some of the other bands that you're close with.
Yeah, you're my first podcast. I always get offered to do podcasts, but I don't like to hear myself talk. So
I don't like to hear myself talk either. Just FYI. I really don't.
Who am I? That's always it. Who am I? Why do you need to listen to me? I'm nobody important. But as I've gotten older and the agency has grown as well, we have agents in the UK, Europe, France, Russia. We're still waiting for our first Australian and our first Japanese agents. And soon we'll hopefully take over with our roster and be able to offer services for our artists to basically tour globally. So,
why did you start? How long ago did you start Diamond Noise?
Diamond Noise was actually about 2 years ago is when I started. I was working for another agency, and that agency was taking a different route, a route I wasn't with, to merge with a record label that I wasn't happy with, and I'm not going to name any names or anything like that. So, but
right.
It's a record label that I've dealt with before in the past. And I knew it was not going to work out. And unfortunately, I had bands on my roster that still needed representation. So I let them know, hey, here's what's going on. Here's where the agency is going. You could go with them or you could stay with me. Well, if you know anything about this business, it's about the relationship you build. It's not about the agency itself. It's about the agent and the band relationship. So they decided, they let me know, well, we're staying with you. Unfortunately, you can't have an @gmail.com account when trying to really solidify yourself as an agent and represent artists. So
Right.
That's where Diamond Noise Agency came into place. Because trust me, I looked around and tried to join a couple other agencies. And of course, I was told, your artists don't make enough money to be on this agency. Of course, I didn't like the idea of how some of these agencies will poach from the agent themselves. So if I make 10%, they're going to take the agency is going to take an additional 25% to cover their costs, their operating costs, and their operating budget. It's almost like a barber or something like that, renting a chair. So yeah, I just decided, let's go ahead and launch this thing. Not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to doing the business license and the LLC. So here we are today. And there's been times where I just wanted to say, fuck this, and close up shop, and, dealing with bands, and dealing with attitudes, and now dealing with COVID. It's been pretty difficult, but we're going to survive through the thing. We just got to wait out the storm, and we'll be back to normal. So.
Well, I checked out a lot of the bands that you represent, and I listened to a lot of them, just kind of scrolling through, and they all seem to have really good branding. You have an ear for what you like. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I do want to get this. I do want to start a song right now, and you sent me a band called Transient, and the song is called Nightmare. So I don't know much about the bands you sent me. I just know you were able to send them to me. So what can you tell me about Transient?
So Transient is a band led by former bassist for Smile Empty Soul and 12 Stones, Jody Lindell. He's a seasoned veteran as well. He wanted to launch this personal project. They're out of New Orleans. They're brand new. I mean, like brand new. They've been working on this for about 1 year to 2 years, I guess, is what he tells me before I came along. But they sent me this song and say, hey, we're going to launch this stuff. And I was like, all right, hold up just a second. Don't go out and just because you're so brand new, let's do this right from the beginning. So
smart.
Tomorrow, Sunday, it is their video for this song, Nightmare, is premiering on Dreambound. So hopefully we get a lot of eyes on it. The song is already out via Spotify and all the streaming platforms, so you can go purchase it anywhere. We have. I'm actually in Nashville, heading to New Orleans in the morning to go meet with the guys. We're supposed to shoot a music video down there. That's been rescheduled just a little bit, but we're still going to have the big meeting so we can do pre-production for next year. So the band's exciting. They're excited band. All of them are seasoned musicians from the local scene, friends of his. So we're hoping for great things with this band, but they understand it's going to be a long road ahead, and you got to spend a lot of money in marketing and getting out there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, let's go ahead and play Transient right now with this song, Nightmare. I'm excited to hear it, so let's jam it. Let's go.
Stuck aside, never will mislead. It's such a sight that I cannot believe. I think I'm dead, but I'm still breathing. Can you hear me? Inside my mind, now I show you the face. The struggle is
Well, that is very different than Smile Empty Soul.
Yeah,
That's a good song.
Yeah. So, one of the biggest things is we met through a mutual friend, Daniel Mary. Shout out to Daniel Mary out in Louisiana, works for Alt 92.3. They work at, they also own a company called Give It Hell Promotions. And, one of my artists, the anchor, they do shows for. So that's how we got all connected. And he says, hey, I have this project. And it's like, hey, I don't pick up baby bands. Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work that goes into it. I usually like to jump in probably around the 5,000-6,000 likes before. In other words, when they've already tested themselves and they already have things going on, and it knows it's going to work out. Because being in a band is not easy. So
no,
I understand that, and not everyone can do it. Financially, personal life choices, families, stuff like that. It takes a lot to get a band to the top. So I'm aware of that. I've been doing it for 20 years and still have yet to hit that big artist that's going to make it big, because they usually just give up. They usually give up and quit because it's just so hard. And that's the reason why.
I think you're on the right path to something. You have some really good bands. You kind of answered my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyways and maybe elaborate on it a little bit more. What does it take for you to pick up a band and say, yes, I will be your manager?
So there's a lot of stuff that's involved. The first thing I'm going to look for is the image and the branding, as well as the music itself. If you're creating something new, I'm going to find you. I promise you, I'm going to find you. If you're creating something hot and something new, a lot of times in the music industry, we're not reinventing the wheel, so to speak. A lot of it's kind of cookie cutter-ish. But I can listen through the music and see that there's something where you're going towards. We just got to find you with the right producers and maybe so we can identify your sound and what you're trying to go for. What message are you trying to put across? So the first thing, music, then your image, branding. The second thing, and the reason why I put those two together, because they're just as important as the other. So I put those things as number one. The second thing that I'm looking for is your work ethic. How much work are you going to put into this thing? Because it's not easy. And if I have to put more work into this than you do, you're the one that creates the content. I'm the one that help you create the hype and the buzz.
Right.
And then I just repackage it and I sell it. That's all I do. At the end of the day, I manage your band. I'm hired by you. So, your work ethic is next, and then your availability to tour. Remember, I am a booking